In this video, I'm gonna go over how to graph parabola, and we're gonna go over the parabola with the vertical axis of symmetry, and then we're gonna go over parabola with the horizontal axis of symmetry, and then we're gonna go over a couple of examples like how to graph these equations, these parabola equations. Okay, so we're gonna go over 4 examples. Okay, so let's go over the standard equation of parabola. When the axis of symmetry is vertical, that means x is equal to 0. So you can fold your graph in half along the axis of symmetry. Okay, so let's go over the first of them is x square is equal to 4py. So that's the standard equation of parabola when the axis of symmetry is vertical. So this axis over here is y, this is my x. Okay, and the vertex of this parabola is going to be point here, which is 0 0. So vertex is 0 and 0, and focus of a parabola with the vertical axis with vertical axis of symmetry is going to be 0 comma p. So this is my focus, so 0 comma p over here, and this pink line is called directrix, and directrix, the value of directrix is y is equal to minus p. So in this case, p is greater than 0, so that tells me it will open up. Okay, now same equation, x square 4py, that means vertical axis of symmetry, but the value of p is less than 0. In this case, parabola will open downward, and again vertical axis of symmetry, and it will be x is equal to 0, and this point is my vertex, which is 0 0, and this point is my focus over here, which is going to be 0 comma p, and this line is directrix, and it is equal to y is equal to minus p, and the vertex is halfway between directrix and your focus. Okay, so if you know the distance of between directrix and the focus, you can find your vertex, which is halfway. All right, so let's go over parabola with horizontal axis of symmetry, and the equation is y square is equal to 4px. So two cases again. If p is positive greater than 0, the directrix is going to be x is equal to minus p. This is my vertex over here, 0 0, and the focus is p comma 0. When p is greater than 0, that means it's going to open to the right, and when p is less than 0, it's going to open to the left. And again, this is my focus, vertex, and directrix. So those are like 4 cases, I will say, but 2 equations. So one is x square is equal to 4py, the other is y square is equal to 4px, and each has 2 cases, when p is greater than 0 and p is less than 0. So let's go over a couple of examples how to graph them. So first example is x square is equal to 8y. So in this case, what we're gonna do, first of all, we're gonna compare it with our standard form. So let's go back again. Looks like it is equal to this one, x square is equal to 4py. So I'm gonna compare this equation with x square is equal to 4py. This tells me this 4p is equal to 8. So 4p is equal to 8. So divide both sides by 2. And this gives me p is equal to sorry, what did I do? Divide it by 4. So p is equal to 2. Okay, so p is greater than 0, obviously. So that means my parabola going to open upward. Okay, if we know p, we can find the focus, and focus for x square is equal to 4py was 0 comma p. Okay, so and directrix is y is equal to minus p. So let's write it down. So focus is 0 comma p, so that means it is 0 comma 2 here, and directrix y is equal to minus p, which is equal to minus 2. Okay, let's find these points and directrix on the graph over here. So focus is 0 comma 2, so x is 0, y is 2, so this is my focus over here, and directrix is minus 2, y is equal to minus 2, so 1 and 2, so negative 2 over here, so line that goes like this. So directrix is always perpendicular to the axis of symmetry, so it's there, and the vertex is halfway between those 2 points. So halfway between those points is this point, which is 0 0, and again if we look into the equation, if y is 0, x is 0, so that means this point here is our vertex. So that tells me the graph is going to be above this line over here. Okay, so that means all the values of y are going to be positive, so we're going to use only positive y values. Okay, we don't have to find for negative values. Okay, and that will be imaginary number. If you plug in negative over here, the square root of a negative is imaginary, so we're going to use positive y values. So let me write down x and y. So we're going to find some points and plot them and graph the parabola. So let's say if x is 1, or let's say if y is 0, x is 0. If y is 1, x is going to be plus minus 2.83. If it is 2, 8 times 2 is 16, so square root of 16 is plus minus 4, and if it is 3, it's plus minus 4.9. I already calculated those points so that we don't spend too much time finding those points. So if y is 4, 32, and square root of that is plus minus 5.66. So now we have to plot those points. So x is 0, y is 0, so that's the point. Okay, so let's go over if y is 1, which is here, and x is going to be 2.83 on both sides, positive and negative. So 2.83 is almost 3, so it's going to be somewhere here, and 1, 2, and there. Okay, and then y is 2 and x is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's the negative side, and this is on the positive side. It's 3, then when y is 3, x is almost 5. So 1, 2, 3, 5 is here, almost 5, and on the positive side, and when it is 1, 2, 3, and 4, it is 5.6, which is somewhere there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll say 6 is here. Now we're gonna join all the points to graph our parabola. So it's gonna look like this, going through all the points. Okay, and same on the negative side. Okay, and you can see it's open upward as p is greater than 0, and this line over here is our directrix. Y is equal to -2, and this is our focus, which is 0, 2, and this is my y-axis and x-axis. So that's how you can graph this parabola. Okay, now let's go over second case, which is x squared is equal to -4y. So let's compare it with our standard equation. So x squared is equal to 4py. This tells me 4p is equal to -4. Divide both sides by 4. This gives me p is equal to -1. 4 cancel this 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So -1. So as the value of p is less than 0, that means the parabola is going to open downward. So we'll open down. Okay, let's write down the focus. So focus is 0 comma p, which is 0 comma negative 1, and where is x is 0, y is a negative 1. So this is my focus, and directrix is going to be y is equal to minus p, which is equal to be minus, and minus 1 gives you positive 1. Okay, so y is equal to positive 1. So line over here. Uh-oh, trying to make it straight. Okay. That's the line. So y is equal to 1. So that's my directrix. So now we're gonna graph, or we're gonna plot the points to graph the parabola, and the vertex is halfway between directrix and focus, which is this point 0 0, standard form. So x is 0, y is 0. So let's find x and y values so that we can graph the parabola. Okay, so first thing, x is 0, y is 0. If you plug y 0, x is also 0. So now, and in this case, p is negative, it's going to open down. So that means there is no y, there is no positive y value. So we're gonna say use only negative y values to save your time. Okay, so just use negative y values. So negative 1 gives me plus minus 2. See, if I plug in y is equal to negative 1, this gives me 4, and square root of 4 is plus minus 2, and negative 4 will gives me plus minus 4. 4 times 4 is 16, square root of 16 is plus minus 4. So let's plot those points and join the points to find the parabola. So 0 0, this is 0 0 point. Y is a negative 1, which is this, so x is plus minus 2. So 1 2 to the negative, 1 to the positive side, and then you got a y is negative 4, 1 2 3 and 4, and x is 1 2 3 and 4 here, negative 1 2 3 and 4 here, it's positive 4. Okay, and join the points to graph your parabola. Okay, so go through the points. Continue going through. Okay, gonna look like this. So this is my directrix, and this is vertex 0 0, and this is my focus, which is 0 comma negative 1, and directrix is y is equal to 1. So that's the graph of your parabola when axis of symmetry is vertical, and the standard equation is x squared is equal to 4py. So now let's go over a couple of examples where axis of symmetry is horizontal. So in that case, the standard equation is y squared is equal to 4py. Okay, so what will happen in this case? So we're gonna find first thing, find the value of p. So compare both of them. This gives me 4p is equal to negative 12, and if I divide both sides by 4, p is going to be negative 3. So let me go over back to see. If p is less than 0, so standard equation is y squared is equal to 4px. That's what we got. Y squared is equal to something, 4px, something here. So p is negative, that means parabola is going to be open to the left. If p is positive, it's going to open to the right. So if p is negative and axis of symmetry is horizontal, it opens to the left. Okay, and focus in this case is p comma 0, which is negative 3 comma 0. So you guys need to remember these. Okay, and directrix is Directrix is x is equal to minus p. Okay, and so which is minus into minus plus, so positive 3. So going to be here on the positive side. All right, so let's plot the focus, which is negative 3 comma 0. So x is negative 3, which is 1 2. Let me see. So this is my y, this is my x-axis on the negative side, and this is our 0 0. So x is 0 and y, sorry, x is a minus 3 and y is 0. So that's the point here. So this is my focus, and directrix is going to be x is equal to positive 3, 1 2 3. So that is the point, that's where my directrix is. I'm gonna draw a line over here, straight line going through this point, vertical line. Okay, and the distance between the halfway between these 2 points is your vertex, and in our standard form it's always 0 0. Okay, so now we're gonna plot few points again, x and y, and in this case we're gonna choose only, like, if you notice, parabola going to open to the left from the 0. That means all the x values are going to be negative values. So choose negative x values. Okay, so let's start with that. So x negative 1, that gives me plus minus 3.40, minus 2 gives me plus minus 4.8, minus 3 gives me plus minus 6, minus 4 gives me plus minus 6.92, minus 5 gives me plus minus 7.74. Let's plot those points and then we can find our parabola. Okay, so x is a negative 1, which is here, and y is plus minus almost 3.5. So 1 2 3, so somewhere here, 1 2 and 3, so somewhere there. Okay, then negative 2, x is negative 2 here, and y is plus minus almost 5, 1 2 3 4, and I'm gonna point it there, and 1 2 3 4 and 5. X is minus 3, so 1 2 and 3 this point, and the value of y is plus and minus 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6. One point is here, 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 there, and then negative 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 7.74, almost 8, 3 4 5 6 7 there, 2 3 4 5 6 7, somewhere there. So now we're gonna connect those points to find our parabola. So let's go join those points, and that will be the parabola. And you see it's opening to the left, and this was our focus, which is negative 3 comma 0, and directrix is x is equal to 3. And next example we're gonna do where it will open to the right. Okay, which is y square is equal to 1 over 8x. So again we're gonna compare it with our standard equation, which is y square is equal to 4px, and that gives me 4p is equal to 1 over 8. I'm gonna divide by 4, same thing here, that gives me p directrix is 1 over 32. As p is positive, is greater than 0, so it's going to open to the right. Okay, so it's going to look like this. Okay, and then we got our focus. So focus is p comma 0, which is 1 over 32 comma 0, and directrix is going to be x is equal to minus p, which is equal to minus 1 over 32. And now we're going to plot some points x and y. Let's say x is 0, y is 0. And in this case, as it's going to open to the right and our vertex is 0, 0, so that means only positive values of x. So it's going to be to the right to the 0 here. Okay, so only positive x values. Okay, so if x is 1, if x is 0, y is 0. If x is 1, y is plus minus 0.35. If it's 2, it's plus minus 0.5. It's 3, it's plus minus 0.61. If it is 4, plus minus 0.71. 5, plus minus 0.79. Okay, so let's go over the focus. Focus is, so I'm gonna say this is my let's say this is my 1 here. Okay, and this is my 2, and so 1/30th 32 means I'll say 1/3 of it. Or let's do this, 3 of them is my 1. Okay, this is my 2. So I will say this is 1/3 here, so 132. So that's the value of, that's where my focus is going to be, 132, and y is 0. Okay, and this is my vertex, which is 0, 0, and my directrix is a negative 132. So 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna say this is my point 1. So here is my directrix. So let's make a line over here. Okay. Always does that. Okay. So this is my directrix, which is x is equal to minus 1 over 32. And this is 0, 0 is my vertex, and this is my focus, which is 1 over 32 comma 0. Now let's plot these points so that we can graph our parabola. So if x is 0, if x is 0, y is 0. So if x is equal to 1, which is here, and y is equal to be 0.35. So along the y-axis, I'm gonna say this is my 1 and this is my 2. So 1 and 2. So 1 and 2. So negative 1 and negative 2. So if x is 1, y is going to be 0.35. So 1/3 of that is going to be somewhere here, and same thing for negative side. And if x is 2, y is going to be 1/2, which is 1/2 is almost this point here. So if x is 2, y 1/2 is here, just half. And if x is 3, y is 0.60, which is going to be somewhere there. Same thing here. So I'm gonna join those points because those are plenty of points to graph this parabola. So going to look like this, going through that point. Excuse me, because my tablet is not working properly, but that's okay. So going through that point, it's gonna look like this, very narrow. Okay, so that will be the graph of this parabola. Okay, and this point is going to be your focus, and this is a vertex, and this is directrix, which is negative 1 over 32, and focus is going to 1 over 32 comma 0, and it's going to open to the right as p is positive. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video, and again I'll always recommend practice couple of examples by yourself, that way you'll be good to go. Thanks for watching the video. Please share and subscribe to the channel, and have a good day. Bye bye.